like it, I might turn up by myself. I don't need opinion, no.
Good evening, everybody. This is Huge Pop from Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. Tonight at Pop's World Order, we have Rico, my co-host, and tonight we have the Hawaiian Hitman, the first ever MCW heavyweight champion. He has performed at NWA. He had an appearance at NWA 75th. Welcome to the show, KOA.
Aloha, how you doing?
Much love, my friend.
Aloha, man. Love having you on the show. Love having you on the show.
I just have to behave myself and make sure our guest is treated properly.
Go ahead.
Thank you for coming on the show once again. We have fans out there. Johnny Cass is chanting KOA, KOA, KOA. Thank you, Johnny Cass, for coming on. So, sir, where did you get your start in professional wrestling, man?
So I graduated high school at 17, and I graduated in Texas. Hold on, I'm just saying hi to Johnny. And then my dad, so my junior, let's start back in my junior year. Fuck it. Let's start even back to freshman year. So I moved from Hawaii to Corpus Christi, Texas, at 13 for my freshman year in high school. My dad had a transfer in the Navy to become senior chief. So we went to Texas, and I began my high school career in Texas, and I had a great time. Flower Bluff High School is where I went to high school. I played my freshman year, and then I played football and baseball, and then I varsityed my sophomore year in football and baseball. So I was very much into sports. I competed in my first bodybuilding show at 15. So Texas was like, it was it. Well, my parents got a divorce my junior year, and I was left with the decision of, do I move with my dad to Illinois, because that's where his family's from, or do I stay in Texas by myself? So my dad was like, listen, I'll set you up with a place to live and everything. We'll take care of that if you want to finish out your senior year here in Texas and do it. So it's kind of like I had to grow up early, become responsible for myself. And I lived my senior year, knocked that out. And then when I graduated, I had offers to go play baseball at Duke University. I had a football offer to a TCU, Texas Christian University. But I really missed my dad, and I wanted, being a military brat, you grow up with my dad. He was deployed a lot. So 6 months out of the year, I never seen him. And I just thought to myself, maybe I'll look for a school in Illinois. So I went to school in Illinois, or I went to Illinois for the summer just to go to ISU, and maybe I'll go to Southern or U of I, and I'll check out those places and see if I can walk on to the team. So what happened is, when I moved there in May of 1997, my dad took us to, or I had seen that there's a festival going on in downtown Bourbonnais. That's where my dad's from. And it was called the Friendship Fest. And there they had, the World Wrestling Association was putting on a 2-day promotion for wrestling at the fair. And they had, so I was watching it, and I was a huge mark for wrestling. I love professional wrestling. I just thought it was so cool. And I always gravitated towards the guys that were like undersized but jacked, like Chris Benoit, Brian Pillman, Sr. Those like crazy physiques, Eddie Guerrero, and so I go over there, and after the daytime show, they had an intermission where they said, "Hey, if you would like to go through a mini camp, we're going to be giving out partial scholarships for those who we feel have what it takes to become a professional wrestler. We will invest with you, and you wouldn't have to pay the entire tuition. You would only pay a portion of the tuition." And so I went to that tryout camp, and I literally did it in jeans and a t-shirt, and I smoked everybody in the camp, and nobody was even close to me on anything. And so Mike Bonome running it at the time, and he said, "Yeah, I'd like to offer you a partial scholarship." He goes, but maybe, because back then it was like $3,000 to become a wrestler, to go to school for wrestling, and then it was $100 a month was your dues. So I go in there, and I knock out the camp, get invited to go to wrestling school on that Monday. So had done the Friendship Fest on Saturday. So Monday I show up for my first day of wrestling, and I literally brought my singlet from high school, had a wrestling singlet on, and skid knee pads or skid pads, and I got in the ring, and I just took to it like a duck on water, because I had always been like kind of like a showman. I took theater in school, so I was always loving like acting, and I always wanted to be. I always loved making people laugh. So when I went to the ring, I already was working on my character, and when I'd lock up with people, I'd already be interacting with a fake crowd. And Mike was like, "Dude, are you sure you never been trained before?" I said, "No." He's like, "You're really good at this." He said, "Listen, it's normally $3,000 to go to school here." He goes, "I have to charge you something because we pay for rent for this building, and I got to pay for the utilities here." He's like, "How about $1,000 a month?" Or I'm sorry, $1,000 for the school. It's usually $100 a month. We'll do $50 a month. I said, "Yeah, that's fine." So I spent my graduation money on the school, and I became his fastest student to ever graduate the school. In literally 30 days, I had my first match. And it was against a guy named John Thompson, the Lunatic, and he's actually a legend here in the Illinois area. And I had my first match against him. It was a 4-minute match because I was always in practice with him. It's like the whole entire match just flowed so well because we've worked together so much. And then, yeah, the experience with starting out was 17, 18, and 19 years old. So all my junior college years where I played baseball at Kankakee Community College, got my associate's degree out there. Those times I probably had at least like 50 matches a year, because we were booked Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, all the way up and down the state with World Wrestling Association. And then I was also a part of Midwest Renegade Wrestling, Lunatic Wrestling Federation, which was Colt Cabana's his like pet project, but I was a part of them before they ever had a ring, to where it was just like in Elwood, a small town called Elwood, where we would wrestle in like a farming area, and we just put up posts and put barbed wire around it. So we did, and my little brother, who was 2 years younger than me, he started at 16, and he was a part of it too. So we traveled around together. He was a masked character, and I was also a masked character as a heel. My heel character name was Accelerate, and then I had my face character, which at the time was 12, because I was a part of the Masters of Brutality. It was a mob style, gimmick, and they called me 12 because it was like a 12 gauge shotgun. So I hated that gimmick though, because I always wanted to be the Hawaiian Hitman. I mean, I literally would I'd go in board shorts and tights and wrestling shoes, and that was my thing. So I did the 3 years in the Midwest, had about 150 matches under my belt. And then I decided I'm going to go to California and finish my degree. When I went to California, I gave up wrestling, and I had nothing to do with it. After I finished my degree, I came home to Illinois, and I looked up the World Wrestling Association, called Mike, and he's like, "I'm done. We folded the company." And I'm like, "How is that even possible?" Because we were doing like 1,500 to 3,000 people in an event at $20 a ticket. Like he was making mad money doing it. And he told me that everything dried up. Like everybody, we went through that lull, like the wrestling bubble popped, and they weren't making money on the draw anymore. So they closed up with a company that was called WCPW, Windy City Pro Wrestling. They were still going. So I was kind of interested in what Sam DeCero was doing with that company. So I kept an eye on it, but I never really said, "Hey, listen, I want to work with you," because I knew I was going to be coming into this company at the bottom of the totem pole. And I really want to fight my way back up a promotion, pay my dues again, or did I even want to get back into this crazy world? So I didn't do anything. I ended up being a personal trainer, got my degree in exercise science, and I started training this kid, Joey Myers, at 15 years old. He was 420 pounds, and I got him into really good shape. And I said, I had asked him, what is one of his major dreams in life? And he said he really wanted to be a pro wrestler. And I'm like, wow, crazy how God put you with me. Of all the people that I could have been with, you're with me. And I was a professional wrestler. And he's like, what? So I brought my old like picture books and everything, the old 8mm film. And he goes, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I said, Joey, if you do this for me, you get down to 200 pounds and I will take you to Windy City Pro Wrestling and enroll you in wrestling school. And I'll be right by your side when you do it. So he trained harder than any of my clients have ever done before. He was literally obsessed. The kid would do 2 hours of cardio. He'd wake up first thing in the morning, do an hour of cardio, go to school, come see me after school, train, and then train with the weights for an hour, and then do an hour of cardio on his own. So his kid's working out 3 hours a day, and he shred that weight. So he went from like 420 down to 195 pounds. When you got to the 195 pounds, I said, okay, you did it. So if you want to go to wrestling school, I'll take care of you. He's like, yes, I do. So I contacted Sam at Windy City Pro Wrestling, told him the story. He loved it. I brought Joey in, and I was just there kind of like a chaperone. And he had heard about like what I've done before. He goes, hey, I heard you were pretty good and you bumped a lot. And so there's a couple of times where he's like, hey, get in the ring, try, just roll around, let me see what you got, check out your footwork. And I went in there and I worked with Joey, and he goes, listen, I want to book you for a match. And he's like, kind of relight that fire with you. And I was kind of apprehensive about it. And, because I was just afraid to get caught up in this world again. And so Joey's like, yeah, it'd mean a lot to me if you did that. So I was like, okay, I'll work a tag team with you. I'll draw the heat, and then you take the shine at the end. He goes, no, I want the heat. You get the shine. He's like, I want to see that, that finisher off the top. I'm like, all right, fine. So we did the match. Everything went really good. And the other match was like in Orland Park at this like Teamsters Hall, and they probably drew like 150 people. It wasn't a great crowd, but it was really cool to be back in the ring. And then so I did the match, and Joey's off and running. He's now a pro wrestler, and I said, okay, that's it, I'm done. I don't want to do anymore. And they were like, no, we got this feud going. At least finish the feud. I'm like, okay. So I do another match with them. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm seriously done and I don't want to do this anymore. And they're like, we don't understand why. They're like, you're good at it. And I said, because I just don't want to get sucked in to where this is my priority in life. And all I care about is becoming the best pro wrestler I can be. I wanted to not be poor. I wanted to, be able to afford my own house and nice things and do that. And I felt divvying my time into the world of pro wrestling would take away from that. So I literally I've taken like 20 years away from pro wrestling, and I just got back into it in July of last year. And I was only going to do a battle royal in memory of my friend Nick Huffman, who passed away. They had the Nick Huffman battle royal. I was going to be inaugurating battle royal in September. And so I went to school at Southland Championship Wrestling, place that Hunter Payne runs. He's an old Windy City Pro guy. And he said, yeah, you bump around, make sure you're good and everything, and then we'll put you in the battle royal. I said, awesome. So I ended up becoming friends with one of the wrestlers. His gimmick name is VIP. His real name is Blake Morrison. And he asked me to start training him at the gym. He's a 236 pound. He's not like, you wouldn't say he's fat. He looks like he's 9 months pregnant, but he's got like skinny arms and skinny legs. And so I took him under my wing, started training him, and he came to me. It was at the end of July, and I was working out with him. I'm like, "What's up, dude? Why the long face?" He's like, "Well, Hunter didn't book me for a match because he's got no one up for me to work." I'm like, "Oh man, that sucks." I was like, "Well, let's focus on the workout. That stuff doesn't matter. It'll take care of itself." And we do the workout together, and he's just kind of bumming it the whole time. I said, "You know what? Fuck it." So I called Hunter. I said, "Hey, let me work VIP on the next show," and he's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So. I do it. He has a great time. The match went off really well. The crowd reacted very favorably to my character. And so Hunter said, hey, listen, you want to make a run at this? He's like, I'll book you next month too. And I'm like, yeah, let's just go ahead and let's do once a month. So I did once a month until Jimmy Blaze hits me up and say, hey, can you work with my promotion too? I want to, have you help put over a couple of our guys that are coming up. And so I ended up working for Jimmy and Hunter. So that's now 2 companies. So I'm bumping twice a month. Come December, some of my highlight videos hit like 48,000 views of just me like flying through tables and just doing jumping off the balconies and shit. at the arena. And then I got hit up by Rocket Pro Wrestling, which is a big company here in Joliet. They do about 600-700 people a show, and they're like, "Hey, like, could you work with us?" I'm like, you know what? I've heard a lot of good things about Rocket Pro. Let me give it a go. So I went to Rocket Pro in December, and I had a great match. It was a fatal 4-way, and I got to work with another Chicago legend, Chris Shogun Logan. And Shogun was like, he literally like talked so good about me to the promoter that they wanted to make me a reoccurring character on the show. And I just thought to myself, man, now this is 3 promotions. And so I had to think. I told him I need to think about it because I don't want to bump that much, and I really don't want to go into wrestling full time again. At that time, I had met a guy messaging me in my Instagram, and he goes, "Hey, I heard you own the gym by my house." And he goes, "And you're a pro wrestler." He goes, "I didn't want to believe it because I know all the pro wrestlers." And this one of my friends was talking about you. He said, "Yeah, you're a good pro wrestler." And that guy's name is Robert Ego Anthony. And Ego has been in WWE developmental. He's been AEW. He's one of John Moxley's good friends. I don't know if you guys seen the viral video that right now AAW Pro last Thursday, John Moxley came out during one of Ego's matches and interrupted and beat up Mance Warner. Well, that's Ego. That's the guy who I began training at my gym. Wow. So I have the very first workout of us training together at my gym where he weighed about 205 pounds. He just hit the scale at 236 pounds, and he's a fucking tank. Like, this dude, he curls 90-pound dumbbells now. I just really brought the monster out of him, and now his wrestling career is exploding again. So he said, "Hey, listen, I'm actually Scion from the NWA." And I'm like, "What? You're the mask guy, the golden mask guy?" He goes, "Yeah, that's me." And I'm like, "Oh, no shit." He goes, "And I'm a featured character in AAW Pro." See, he had just left freelance wrestling to go back to AAW Pro. It's a 20-year promotion here in Chicago. It's the top indie promotion in the Midwest. And he goes, "I'd like for you to come out here and try out if you want to." He's like, "It'd just be fun to work the same cards with you, hang out together, and we can, we'll train together, and it'd be really cool." And I said, "Dude, I would love that." And I said, "I could use coaching because I trust his abilities as a pro wrestler as well as an agent to be able to agent my matches and make sure everything makes sense and make sure everything flows really good." So he's like, "Okay, let's do it." So I tried out for AAW Pro in March, and I made the grade, and Danny invited me back for every single show moving on forward to the future. So I've got 9 shows under my belt with AAW Pro right now. And then NWA was coming to Highland Park. He goes, "Hey, do you think you can bring that same type of enthusiasm to NWA?" He goes, "It's all about the character at NWA. If you can bring that character, it's not about the movesets. It's more about the character." And that's what Billy Corgan's looking for. And so he set up my tryout in Highland Park in April, and I went out there. I didn't get much offense at all. It was a triple threat match, and I didn't get much offense at all. I took the finisher, put Alex Taylor over, and at the end of the match, when I got up, the fucking crowd lit up and was chanting KOA the whole time. And then as I'm walking down the aisleway, I look to the right, and Billy's standing up, giving me a standing ovation. I'm like, holy shit! So I get down there, and I'm packing all my stuff up, and the only 2 people that I know of that got to talk to Billy personally was my friend Yabo the Clown, who is now signed, and myself. So we were the only 2 that got to talk to him. And I was invited to the next set of NWA Power tapings where they wanted to use me in a storyline with Ricky Morton and the Southern Six. So I came out there. I got to cut a promo on Ricky Morton and the Southern Six, and as well as Kerry Morton. And they thought that I did a really good enough job that I've been a part of NWA ever since. And I've main evented 3 of the NWA Power shows, and I was part of the 2-day pay-per-view. So I'm really getting utilized very well, Billy. I spend these last 3 days, I spent an hour on the phone with him each day, talking to him during our podcast that we filmed for MCW a couple days. Billy actually called me during that, and I sent him the link. I sent him a link to the podcast. I was like, hey, here's the link if you want to listen in, and so yeah, I'm tremendously blessed and thankful for the opportunities Ego's given me with NWA and AAW Pro. And I'm working my ass off for both companies. And now I went from like, okay, I'll bump once a month to literally I did, I think it was 16 matches in August. And now I'm set up to do 15 matches here in September. So I'm basically bumping half the month, like Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. And then the NWA power tapings are Monday, Tuesday. The only day I got off last week from bumping was Wednesday. And I ended up going to that Disturbed concert with Breaking Benjamin, which was awesome. So
it's Disturbed.
Oh, they're amazing. So good. So good. I'm a concert whore. I try to go to as many as I possibly can. And that was the best concert I've been to this year. So
I hope Billy Corgan liked the MCW interviews, and hope that we represented you and Cody and AMB well. So,
yeah.
So, man, I guys, to be honest, and everybody's going to be shocked by this, but I've yet to ever be to one concert. I've never been to a concert.
What?
Never, ever.
You're missing out. There's something about being in a crowd that lives for that music, and it's like it's really cool because it's like it's karaoke. Everybody's singing the words, they're all vibing, and it's like you're showing your appreciation for this brand of music. It's really, really neat. I love doing it. Yeah.
Wow,
my daughter bug too, because my daughter loves going to concerts now too.
That's it. I got to go to one. So I'm just gonna say, maybe I'm wrong, but I think you have that mentality of I'm going to be the hardest worker in the room. None of you are going to outwork me.
Yeah, that's what I'm bringing to the table right now with NWA and AAW Pro. You'll see from the power tapings, I have some really awesome matches with legends in the business like Homicide and Tom Latimer. And I've got these matches that I'm so proud of, and I can't wait for them to air. I'm really not supposed to talk too much about them until they air because we want to keep the mystique about the match. I'm so proud of the work that I did with those matches, and I'm excited for the world to see it.
That's awesome, man. I will say this to piggyback off of Rico. I love the spirit of positivity that you have, that you bring to the table. I watch you in the ring. I've had you on the podcast a couple times. I even asked you if you could give me some dirt on Cody James, and you said, and I quote, "I'm not going to do that because you keep it positive." And I think that work ethic goes a long ways to keeping to where how you're progressing into your career. So I want to say thank you for being that positive, because you get a lot of wrestlers out there that you meet, they're arrogant, they're cocky, they're like blah 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 all about, but you're not. And I heard something about you have gyms, and you offered free training, I think I heard, to a couple wrestlers or whatever. Does that ring a bell? Is that true?
Yeah, I train a lot of wrestlers for free. I want to make, like, if they're willing to really give it 100% into their pro wrestling persona, and they want to create the physique to match what they believe they should have in their head, then I train them. Yeah, do that.
That's awesome, man.
That
is awesome.
Yeah. I got some, man, I can't tell you this news, but man, I'm like biting my tongue so bad.
Yeah, don't get in trouble, bro.
You're about to know my name nationwide. It's incredible. Like I haven't put the ink to the paper yet, but the contracts are already been signed. So the big things are gonna happen, which means that now I went from bumping once a month to like I'm gonna be full-time invested into pro wrestling, which is wild. It's just so crazy to think that how far my life has come in 1 year. A lot of people, they'll spend like 20, 30 years in the wrestling business and they'll never get the opportunities that I have that are set in front of me. And I've literally only just put a year of, not even a year set. I've been taking this serious since March. So since March, I've got crazy opportunities that are going to be opportunities for everybody that I have had a positive experience with. I'm going to be bringing them with me because that's what this opportunity allows. It's wild. It's so wild. Maybe the next podcast I'll be able to let the cat out of the bag.
I'm blessed. I bet you Rico's the same thing. That Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast has had the opportunity to have you on their show, and
Oh yes.
Oh yeah,
we're
blessed. I always have a good time on this podcast, and I tend to do about 4 podcasts a week, spreading my love of pro wrestling and fitness and just positivity around. But this one's unique because this is the only one that's ever brought the heel out of me twice now.
well, maybe
Yeah, go ahead, Huge Pop. Do that again.
Maybe before the show's over. But now let's go back to the MCW event. I say that we talked there off the camera about AMB doing that high spot on the wild card. You are known as a guy that does a lot of high spots as well. And I believe you love to do tables, and I think you said you had a couple tables in your garage that you take places just in case you need to.
Yeah, there's a couple of tables that are right behind my spare tires over here. So
nice. So tell us about you. Is that something you enjoy? Is that what you look for?
I enjoy the pop. I enjoy the pop. Yeah, I'm always trying to get the crowd to pop. I want them to leave having an experience of we're completely satisfied with the performance that our wrestling show provided them. It gave them holy shit moments. This is awesome moments. It took them on a roller coaster ride, and it left them wanting more. Like it wants now. Like example, we could have sold out the entire arena again at Skydive Chicago if Jimmy Smooth would have had tickets available for sale right then and there. They would have bought. Because at the end of the match, after I won, nasty Nick Nolan came out and destroyed me with a chair. Like that dude hit, like my whole back is all bruised up from it. But and then he did a concerto on me and cracked my skull on it. So like we could have sold every ticket that we sold that day. And I think that's something I need to sit down with Jimmy and say, hey, listen, at the very end of the show, you can offer tickets for the next show to grab. So,
Well, we have a guy in the chat that I don't know. I know this guy personally, Johnny Cass. He says, "Koa, you're on his bucket list. He'd love to have a chance at that title." I think that's what he's saying. Also, we got another person down here that's saying AMB and you together would be great in the ring. So what's your hot take on those guys?
AMB is going to happen, but we can't just say like, hey, listen, these two wrestlers would be really good together. That's not what sells arenas out. You got to look for draws. So Cody James has his followers, and so Cody James is probably responsible for 20-30 tickets sold to the event, and I myself were responsible for that. So what you do as a promoter is you're going to book the matches that are going to fill the seats. Right. That's what you have to do. You can't. I tell people all the time, the difference between a successful promoter is a business promoter compared to a bro-moter who just books their bros, and like, oh, this will be a fun match to watch. Yes, me and AMB will be a fun match to watch, and it's going to happen eventually. It might not happen at MCW for a while until we can build that match. It's hard to book two faces against each other and make people want to give a damn about seeing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I've already talked to the people that need to be talked to about bringing him into the cruiserweight division of NWA. The only thing is, if through the pictures they've seen, they said the kid needs more size because on TV he's going to translate into a skeleton. And you see, like me on TV, I'm 205 pounds, like, and I'm a natural pro bodybuilder, but I still look small on TV compared to like when you see, like a lot of people see me in person, they're like, God damn, you look a lot bigger in person. I'm like, yeah, because TV like shrinks you down. So he definitely needs to put on some muscle, and he will. He's serious about it. He's young. He's got time. We're gonna end up having our moments where we'll end up selling out arena together, and we'll have fun. But it's not now. The timing's not right. So I gotta still get, I gotta get this feud in with Nick Nolan, which the fans want to see me kick his ass. So that's what they're paying to see on the next show. And it's all about the build. If you can do the build up right for a match, then the people will come. But it's a lot more than than just saying, "Hey, these two are great wrestlers. Let's have them wrestle together."
So
I had a guy I was talking to. Gosh, what's his name? Nick Thompson. What's his moniker? I can't remember his moniker, but we were talking. He's been in the business for 3 years. He's got 50 matches under his belt. He's based out of New Jersey. And he goes, yeah, everybody, like he's had a couple people say that he and I would work really good together. And I literally, my reply, get in line. Everybody wants to kick my ass.
So Nasty Nick showed up at the skydiver at the end then, huh?
You didn't hear what I said? He smashed me with a chair repeatedly, gave me a concerto.
That's a.
The reason why I said I seen the tape. I didn't see that part of the tape. So
yeah, he's not very nice.
He just didn't get enough of you. He just didn't get enough of you at that last MCW event, I guess.
Yeah. Oh man, did you hear about what happened with that match? So like we're set to go out for the main event, and we got about 100 people in the crowd, right? It's not that big of a show. And then the tag team match before us, one dude like breaks his rib and breaks his ankle. And so we went cold. It was like an hour and a half to get the fucking ambulance out there and get him carted off. Oh. And so we ended up wrestling in front of like 30 people.
Oh man!
I was like, oh, but we still had fun. We did it for TV, and it was good.
That is going to be a good feud there. That Nasty Nick and you and
Yeah, it's what I'm hoping it does is it brings attention to him and his character, because I believe he has what it takes to be on TV. And I believe he has the dedication. It just really sucks, man. He took a power bomb wrong 3 weeks ago, and it gave him a grade 2 concussion, and he is not cleared to wrestle. So that's why we were unable to have our match together, and Cody had to come in and fill the shoes. It was really cool though, because I put an open challenge. I said, hey, to all the wrestlers in the Midwest, if you're willing to come out to Skydive Chicago, I've got an open challenge for the main event. The winner will be crowned as the first MCW champion. It's got a good pay, because the pay was $150 for it. And so if you want to come out and work this match with me, which a lot of you people say this match with me, then comment below. Man, if that thread's still open, there was like 30 wrestlers that were like, let's go. And even direct messaging, the ones who direct messaging me, I said, put it on the comment thread. Like, I want everybody to see who's on here talking about it. You know, I don't want you to just secretly and like, hey, I want to wrestle you. No, like proclaim it. That way MCW can see that you want to do that, and we can feuds for the future.
100%. Rico?
Oh man. So I just wanted to check, make sure Nick's doing okay, you said?
Yeah, so he's got to do the 30-day concussion protocol. So he I think he's got another 2 weeks and he'll be clear. Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, man, moving from you say you went from Hawaii to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just for me, moving from a big city to a really small town was a huge change. How did you have to adapt to that?
Oh, it was wild, because so in Hawaii we're all about love, right? We're about luau's on Sunday after church, about getting together with the community, cooking together. You know, we greet each other with hugs and embrace each other. I moved to Texas, and one of my first interactions with high school was two-a-days for football, and I love football. Man, Hawaii breeds some great football players, and they had a great Pee Wee program that was put through. My first day at two-a-days is so we have practice, and then afterwards I do a meet and greet, and they're like, hey man, you're new, you're from Hawaii. And I remember this kid, David Alegria. He goes, he goes, hey man, welcome to the team. You're gonna be good for our team. And I go, oh, thank you, brother. And I give him a hug. He goes, what are you doing, faggot? And I'm like, what? Excuse me? He's like, you fucking gay? And I'm like, man. I was like, wow, these people in Texas are different. Yeah.
It's like a different culture shock there.
Yeah, and vice versa. So after I had that crazy experience with the guys there, where I was like, ooh, I don't know about Texas. Then I had this beautiful cheerleader, Melissa Gazen, came up to me, and she's like, damn, boy, because I had my shirt off, and I was a jack kid. And she's like, damn, your body's gorgeous. I'm like, what? Excuse me? And I said, thank you. And she goes, you got a girlfriend? And I go, no, ma'am. She goes, you do now. I'm your girlfriend. And I literally dated her all 4 years of high school. So that's a pretty bad. Yeah, she was fun.
You do now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's alpha for sure. So.
That is hilarious. So sorry, huge pop. I just wanted to because when you're talking about like how you didn't have any training or nothing and you just jumped right in, like how it wasn't difficult at all to like kind of take those bumps like the proper way that you're
Bro,
supposed to take them.
dude, I played Texas football.
Yeah.
They were worse than that. So nothing. Like I went through. Okay, so I had a match with Thrill Billy, and I took like 6 finishers, and then I go backstage, and everybody's like Kyle Davis. Everybody, they're like, "Hey, dude, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Bro, I'm fine. I'll go back out there and do it again." They're like, "What are you made out of?" So I had my match with Homicide where he assaults me with a chair in my face, and I can't go into it too much. And then my match with Latimer, I took these massive bumps for the company, and I'm fine. It's okay. I'm okay.
So on those chair shots, table shots, bumps, what is your what would you say to these people that call your what you do is fake?
Well, it is fake. It is. It is. We're not trying to kill each other. We're entertaining a crowd. Are we hitting each other? Absolutely. Absolutely, we're hitting each other. Nick fucking fucked my. I'm sorry. Probably get a little I talk about. Man, he stiffed the shit out of me, and that concerto cracked my fucking skull. Like cracked me hard. But I can still wrestle after that.
There you go.
I was talking to one of the members at the gym because he's like, "Hey man, I watched your match against Thrill Billy. Like how are you? How long did it take to recover after that?" And I'm like, "I wrestled the very next day." And he's like, "How do you do that?" I said, "I'm just built different. I can take a beating, and it's no problem for me. I've always been this way. If you watch my videos of me bumping when I was 17, I did all my bumps on hardwood, like the basketball courts or on concrete. There's no padding down there. You know, I'm flying out of the ring, landing on my side, bumping on my back, not inside the ring. And that's just the way I was built. I was, and I would rather bump like that than." Get smashed up in football. I think that's why a lot of football players, they translate very well into pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So we got somebody in the chat that says Nasty Nick deserves to have it. You kick his ass after what you did to your girlfriend.
Yeah, buy a ticket.
Buy a ticket. There you go.
And buy one for your friends, and then buy another one that you give away, because you're gonna see Nick Nolan get his payback. Receipts will be cashed.
Receipts will be cashed. I hope you stick to your promise. I don't want to have you back on here the following week after that match with Nasty Nick and Nasty Nick holding the championship belt on over top of you and getting getting what he deserves. So I hope you are cashing that receipt. Seriously.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, will the tickets be sold or not? Because these promotions won't stay around if people don't buy the tickets. So do you know why there are so many Star Wars movies? Because the good guy doesn't always win.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
On behalf of MCW management, congrats, champ.
Thank you. You know, one of my favorite TV shows was Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, and how many of the family Stark died?
Never got into that show.
I watched the first season.
Died.
And after Lord Stark died, I got mad and stopped watching.
Oh, there's so much good. There's so much good. I mean, my favorite character is one of my cousins, Jason Momoa. And when his character Drago died, I'm like, well, why? Why did you have to kill him so fast? But it just makes it a better story. So that's all we're doing is it's live Broadway with That Hurts. Very violent, very violent play.
There you go. So if we talk about favorite moments, who's been your favorite opponent?
Oh God, there's so many. Even from like when I was a kid, I got to wrestle Juventud Guerrero in his fucking prime, and he was so much fun. One of my first matches was against Cowboy Bob Orton.
Oh,
he smashed gimmick with his cast, and I remember he was talking about his son. Oh, my son's gonna be great. I'm like, dude, your son ended up becoming one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
And I got to work against Greg the Hammer Valentine, King Kong Bundy, Coco Beware. Yeah, there's so many. I don't know if I can say is my favorite. I love this kid named Jimmy Carrot. He brings out the best in me, and we like Shibata style fight each other. Like it's all striking, It's strike, 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 backflip, strike, 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 strike. You know, so that he's a lot of fun. I had a blast working with Tom Latimer. I did Homicide was so much fun. I really want to have Homicide in a no holds barred street fight. I think that would be so much fun. But I don't know how much more he wants to bump. He's at the end of his career. You know, I don't know if he'd want to give me that rub and let me work with him. But we worked each other on Power, and we fucking worked each other. You'll see it. It's stiff. Like, you'll be like, damn, they look like they really hit each other. That's because we really were hitting each other.
That looked like it really connected because it did.
Yeah, funny because the boys, when we came in the back, they go, bro, that would look like stiff as fuck. And then you could see the blood dripping out of my mouth. I'm like, it was.
So now Power Hour, KOA, can you just see that on YouTube, or do they have?
Yeah, it's Tuesday night at 5:00. It's NWA Power, and it broadcasts live on NWA's YouTube page. I am on the chat. I'm always in the chat room interacting with the fans at 5:00 on that page, and I love it. I think it's so much fun. I was on the show today promoting my match against Homicide for the next week. So next week's episode, you'll see me versus Homicide. It's me and Colby Carino versus Joe Alonzo and Homicide. And I'm very proud of that work, and I had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it again.
Awesome. So, guys, huge Pop Wrestling fans, you'll see KOA on NWA Power on YouTube, their NWA channel, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. So check him out there. Rico, got a question?
Actually, yeah, because I just love how, man, you just consistently. You try to keep your physique. You try to stay in shape. And that's one thing I noticed, like the two I always noticed with it was Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. They always, like, they were at the stores just kind of looking at the nutritional facts, everything they ate. And I just got to say, man, I think that's awesome how you do that. And how hard is that, though?
It's
when you're constantly on the road.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle that I've created for myself. I'm literally a fat burning machine. I ate a tub of ice cream last night. You know, Rocky Road. I ate a whole entire pint of it. I woke up this morning and breaded it. I've created, my body is now a fat burning machine. I literally incinerate food all day long. Today I ate very good. I ate an entire rotisserie chicken, so about 2.5 pound bird. I had about 2 pounds of rice with it, and then vegetables as well, green beans. That was my dinner that I literally ate right before I came here, or before I hopped on the show. During the day, I had 2 protein shakes, which totaled 150 grams of protein, and then I ate 2 cheeseburgers, which totaled another 70 grams of protein. So I literally eat all day long, and I only way I can get fat is if I stop working out, because I've done that before. I had an incident in my life in 2005. I won the Mr. Illinois. And it got me an opportunity to compete in the North American Championships, which is the Mr. America. So 2005, I won. I had a 2-year window where I compete in the North American Championships. In 2006, my longtime girlfriend Natalie passed away in a car accident, and I went into a depression and stopped working out. And I just, I ate comfort foods. They had an antidepressant Zoloft, and it just made me very unmotivated. And my bodybuilding coach, his name is Kiyoshi Moody. He was a 4-time Mr. Olympia for natural bodybuilding. He called me and said, "Hey, you haven't sent me any of your update pictures. Are you still going to do the Olympia? Like, what's going on?" And I said, "Hey, listen, Natalie died. I've just been depressed." And he straightened my mind out really well. He told me, "Listen, do you believe in heaven?" I said, "Absolutely, I believe in heaven." "Do you believe Natalie's in heaven?" "Yeah." "Do you believe she's able to see you right now?" And I go, "Yeah." "Do you think she's happy with the way you're living your life?" And I said, "No." "Wouldn't you rather see her proud of you and you're doing the things that you need to do so that one day you end up in heaven with her?" And I go, "Yeah, Koshi, that's what I want more than anything." He's like, "Then fucking wake up, snap out of it." And I took my prescription of Zoloft. I flushed it down the toilet, and I was done with it. And I woke up the very next day, 5 a.m. I did an hour of cardio. I pushed myself through an hour workout, and then before I went to bed, I did another hour of cardio, and that began my journey for the 2007 North American Championships, where I won the Mr. America contest, and I turned pro as a natural bodybuilder. And so that kind of discipline has, I competed in my first bodybuilding show at 15, so I've always been disciplined. I had that one little funk, which I believe that happened for me so I can tell a story to other people who are struggling. You know,
And
they see me, they're like, oh, well, you're always in shape, and I've always known you as in shape. I'm like, well, there was one time in my life where this happened, and it was such a significant emotional experience to where people can say, hey, listen, I can relate to it, and I had this experience happen, and then I can be Kiyoshi, and I say, wake the fuck up and snap out of it, because you're not guaranteed days on this planet, and if you're gonna live every day depressed and sad, you might as well be gone. You're not even here. So wake up, enjoy the rest of your life, live your life with purpose and meaning. If you do believe in an afterlife, then make sure that you're going to be a part of the best part of the afterlife, which is heaven and not hell. So
well,
There you
Koa,
go.
I'm going to interrupt you right there and tell you something. I wanted to do this for a wrestling video, for a podcast, or wrestling, but what you just said, and I hope you're listening really good. What you just said helped me understand, because it leads into my next question. You know, my wife and I lost a child 30 years ago. It's still hard in August. I got news that my mom has 8 months to live, and what you just said speaks volumes, because I know mom's gonna look down at me, and I know that she's gonna want to see her son being proud. So for that, thank you.
isn't it wild how God puts God put us in each other's path?
It's crazy. It's crazy, because my next question was, you know, I know, joking around on the last thing, you and I had a heated discussion, and you made a comment about my weight, blah blah blah. And I fired back at you, blah blah blah. My question is, do you do like long distance virtual training, or do you help people like that?
I have, it's one of my many hats that I wear, is I do online training. And what it is it's an accountability coach, and my coach was Kiyoshi Moody, 4-time Mr. Olympia, and he was my online trainer. And so I do offer that service. I got to tell you right now, as far as nutrition is concerned, I have a certification. I do not have a degree in it. So I cannot, if you have certain type of illnesses, if you're working with diabetes, if you're working with other things in your life that you can have to have a specific diet, I suggest you go to a nutritionist for it.
Right.
All I can do is set how many calories you can eat per day. And I always suggest people get an app that tracks your calories, and then we figure out how many calories you can eat per day to create an effective weight loss program, and then we can monitor your exercise from there. And then if it's simple math, like literally, if you eat 1,300 calories and you burn 2,000 calories a day, you're gonna lose 700 calories a day. That's 1.5 pounds a week that'll fall off your body. So,
well, you and I are gonna have to have a conversation, because I was at 315 about 4 weeks ago. I'm down to 288 now. So, but I've been, trying stuff differently, but I'd really like some advice. So I'll keep in touch with you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that part. So, but no, what you just said, man, that made the whole night, made sense to me, made the whole night. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah. I love, sharing that story, because it always has a positive outlook. Before, it was really hard for me to share the story, because the scars on my heart were like, they would tend to get ripped open anytime I talked about her. But that's another that I've just had to understand, that, hey, listen, truly being a believer and understanding there is an afterlife, there's no reason to be sad about that. So
right, absolutely. Rico.
No, always say, man, I've heard it. And I think we talked about it last time. I was always taught abs are made in the kitchen. You work out hard, but abs are really made in the kitchen. As long as you eat what you
out-train a bad diet, that's for sure.
There you go.
I was going to say, if you look at the comments there, actually, Brother George tried getting him on here. I know you're listening. Yeah, you should have been on here. But he was saying, oh, shoot, Kiyoshi Moody is a legend in the world of natural bodybuilding.
Yep, he is. Yeah, that was my coach. So
awesome.
Yeah, so how many? That's what my question. Like, how many actual bodybuilding shows have you competed in?
Oh goodness! Like, if you look around, I don't know if you can see. These are all my trophies that I'm doing. These are, every statue is a first place world trophy, and they go all the way around to the other end here. So I would say probably around 50. So 50. Yep.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
No, that is amazing, and just a transition, like you do bodybuilding, then you go into pro wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and you just drive with it and do phenomenal. That's awesome, bro.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I know you. Go ahead.
I really believe that my path is guided by God. I believe I'm favored by God because I don't shut up about God. I don't shut up about the great that I constantly have in my life. And that's why I have so many nice things and I have so many wonderful friendships that I've made. And I just never shut up. I always talk about how much my love is for our Lord and Savior. And that if when people are going through tough times, that should be the first place they go. Because for me, it's a place that definitely helped me in my life. And sometimes we get so clouded in self-pity and, like feeling bad for yourself and wishing you would have done things differently, when in actuality, all you have to do is say, God, what is my purpose? Yeah. What am I looking to achieve here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, if everybody realized that all God wants from you is for you to be happy and for you to love one another, that life becomes so much simpler. But we are constantly at war with our brains, saying, is like, this isn't me, this is most people that I talk to. Is God real? I can't touch him. It's not tangible. Who knows it's real? Maybe it was only created to control the masses. If that's something that you believe, that this religion has survived 2,000 plus years and is at the forefront of the reason that we keep time. The reason it's 2023 is because it's 2023 years after the death of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
We keep time according to our Lord and Savior. So for people who are doubters, I always, I give them a grin and I said, I understand that, because it's easy to become a doubter, especially in a world right now where they push religion to the side. It's not cool. It's not cool to love God.
It's very frowned upon right now.
Yeah, it's because we have the wrong authorities in office right now.
Yeah.
We do a Monday show, KOA, called with the brand from Texas, actually, Christian Wrestling Federation of Rockwall, CWF. So Rob Vaughn, he runs the show, and it's a Monday. So if you're if you're looking for a podcast, check us out on Mondays.
Shoot me the link and I'll tune in for sure.
Absolutely. So I know you have cars as a hobby, but it's an interesting hobby. I don't know if Rico knows this yet, but you love to do Comic-Cons.
Oh yeah, me and my fiance Kaylee, we always dress in cosplay, and we love it. Absolutely love it. We look forward to it. So
I do a mean Harley and Joker.
That was our very first one we ever did, and we won. We won with that one. That was a lot of fun. I like. She does all my hair and makeup, and she's fantastic at it. She's actually my hairstylist now too. She cuts my hair. I put a video on Instagram over the week. I said she's not only my manager, but she's also my hairstylist.
That was your first date, wasn't it?
Our first date, yes, it was Halloween. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I love that. Yeah, actually, we're trying to go this year because my wife's birthday is Halloween.
Wow.
So we're trying to go as Batman and Catwoman this year.
Oh, awesome. So NWA is their next pay-per-view is in Cleveland, Ohio, October 28th. And that's one thing that I want to talk to Billy about is, will he encourage us to be in a pseudo costume? Because we have a character that we played last Halloween that went over so well. I was Vegeta and she was Bulma from Dragon Ball Z. And we were literally the biggest pop of the night. And it was so much fun. So I'd love to replay that, if at all possible. I really don't know what the expectations of the show are. I know I am definitely booked for the show, but I don't know what my expectations are yet. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen that, and I was like, man, I got to ask him about that.
Did you see the Aquaman one too?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
no.
It was Princess Mira and Aquaman, and we won in that one too. That was.
I gotta check.
God, those temporary tattoos fucking itch so bad. Like literally when we got home, I'm like, you gotta scrub this off me. I'm like, you gotta get it off, especially ones on my back because I couldn't reach to scratch them. Oh, those, yeah. I'm like, we gotta figure out a different way to put them on next time. Maybe just draw them on with like permanent marker.
Oh man, that's pretty sweet right there.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Cass says, have you ever heard of Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee? They also hold one of the biggest cosplay contests in the Midwest. I'm curious.
So We do Comic-Con and we do C2E2. Now that I have a full-time wrestling schedule, I doubt I'll be able to do any of them. I don't even do car shows anymore. I literally I wrestle like 12 to 15 times a month now. And there's a reason behind it that I can't disclose yet. But I will on the next podcast. As long, I got to put the ink to the paper because I don't want to say something and then I'll be like, you know what, that was going to be like, that was what was talked about. That's the fact that was drawn up and now it's not. So,
no, like I said, don't get yourself in trouble, man.
No, don't get yourself in trouble. No,
I'm just so excited about it. Like Kaylee knows about it because she's a part of it. So like she was there when we were interviewed over the phone about the position, and it's just really, really fucking cool. Like so wild.
We'll talk after the podcast is over and set up another interview. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
So.
And she really wants to be a part of this too. Like she just came in here, but she's got, she's been crying all day. And then Uncle Terry lives in Southern Illinois, so it was like a 3-hour drive back and forth.
So maybe a couple months we'll have you and your fiance on together because I know she's part of your team.
I would kind of want to do it right after I sign the contract, and then
all right,
have you guys be the first podcast that I do it with. And
that'd be epic. Let's talk after the show.
Yeah.
So I am curious, KOA. Where did KOA originate? How did the ring name originate?
So that's my nickname growing up. KOA in Hawaiian means warrior. Okay. And, my nickname growing up was given to me by my Hawaiian side of the family. Is I always stood like I'm ready to fight. I've got like these baby pictures of me with my fist clenched and I'm staring like just like evil looking, like don't fuck with me kind of like baby, I was standing there ready to fight. And so they always like, oh, he's a little warrior, So they always called me KOA. And that's where, then Laksamana is my mom's maiden name. Laksa means rich. Mana is spirit. I'm sure you heard The Rock talk about mana before. So it's a warrior. KOA is warrior. And then Laksa is rich and mana spirit. So warrior, rich in spirit.
Nice.
That's my gimmick. It's my gimmick because that's exactly who I am, because it literally takes so much to get my character knocked out. And I don't mind taking all those bumps. I think it's better. It just makes my character more over.
That's nice, man. Rico, before we close
now, the last time we had you on, that's when we had Nick on too. And there was talks of possibly a tag team in the future. Is that
no, it's still going on. So everybody got the video of what he did last time. It's like a yin and yang thing. So I had these great ideas of filming a promo of us flying to an NWA event, and he's like, we're at a concession stand, and I'm like at a Starbucks, and he just grabs a bunch of stuff and puts it in his pocket, like steals it, and then I'm like, no, I got to pay for that. I do the good thing, he does the bad thing, he cheats in the ring. And I struggle with my moral compass of man, I don't know if we should be winning like this. This isn't right. What will my daughter think? And then he'll slide me gifts like a Rolex watch and be like, here's this part of the winner's purse. And I'll be like, oh man, this is nice. So I think that would really, I don't think it's ever been done before either. I have so many stories that I've pitched. Literally, I've been blessed to have these last couple of nights where I talked to Billy for an hour on the phone, and we've pitched him a couple of stories that he's like, God damn, those are good, but no one's done them, and they're very edgy. Like he goes, I have to sit and brew on it, do we want to take your character down this road, kind of stuff. So I think right now what we need to do is make sure my character gets over with a crowd, which it is. It's working. And then, get them to where I could be a viable threat for a title, whether it be the North American Championship or the television title or even the junior heavyweight title. Make my character a viable threat that the crowd's so on my side that I become like the LA Knight of NWA. Yeah, exactly. So
awesome. So now, will you take the MCW title wherever you go?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jimmy's going to allow me the opportunity to bring that title everywhere. I wanted to bring it to Rocket Pro this Saturday because that's a huge venue and it's got so many fans. And I have a great time every time I'm at Rocket Pro. I am in a title storyline right now. Okay. The thing with Rocket Pro is the storylines aren't written in stone, so things change. You know, they see how the crowd reacts, they see how the character reacts, they see who's a pain in the ass to deal with as a wrestler and who's more of a company guy. I like to pride myself that I'm always a company guy and I'm never a pain in the ass. But I think there's only one promoter that I'll tell you I'm a pain in the ass, and that's I had this company that I'm not going to name names. They had this match before me, and the guy did a gimmick where he took a bag of cocoa powder and threw it in the guy's face. But they didn't sweep the ring up beforehand, or after the match, before my match started. So we had to wrestle in a ring where there's cocoa powder everywhere, and we did a flying Spanish fly spot. You know, you're running full speed, whether you do a Spanish fly. We both slip, and I land directly on my head, and I compress 2 vertebrae in my neck. And I literally went to him. I'm like, any other wrestler, you would have a chance that they're going to sue you and your company's done. All I'm going to say is shame on you for not fucking sweeping that ring. You put me and my opponent in a dangerous situation, you know? And then I made the videotape of how we went slow motion, and I showed my neck in compressed on the canvas, and showed and explained why. And I said, I'm posting this because people need to know that you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now, I don't know if you saw that picture I sent you. That's what me and my wife won for a Halloween contest. I was like, man, you guys would have blew us out the water.
Is it send it on Messenger?
Yes.
Let me see if I can open it without losing you guys.
Oh yeah, you can look at it later.
Image is sent. Requests are covered. Oh, what is that?
It's like 2 blobs, pretty much.
You guys are silly.
It's like 2 blobs, man.
A purple and a black blob.
Yeah, but just like the outfits you're talking about, like Aquaman, just the makeup and everything, that sounds sweet.
Very time consuming. The Joker costume took probably 3 hours to get in that one, and same with the Aquaman one. It was painstaking. And then the hair extensions, because my hair wasn't as long as it is now during that time, so we had to use hair extensions to create that look. Yeah, painstaking.
So, any final thoughts for the Huge Pop Wrestling podcast fans? Where are you going to be? Where can they see you?
Okay, so this Saturday's big event is Rocket Pro Wrestling in Joliet. I'm taking on Eric Schultz. He's a friend of mine that I really believe in, and I want good things happening for him. I have helped them get booked with the WAW, and that's Soraya Knight's company. I don't know if anybody knows Soraya Knight. It's Paige from the WWE, or Soraya's her mom. So on Feuding with the Family, she's featured in that one. So her company is based in England, but they did a show in Tinley Park. I helped him get a part of that. It was a fun show that we did here. And then after that, it's Defiant Pro Wrestling in Kankakee. That I love Defiant Pro. Candace, like she books top talent. You know, she books a lot of Black and Brave students. Seth Rollins camp. She books them. She booked Brian Pillman Jr. to work with me. Like, I love this company so much, and I'm in both Rocket Pro and in Defiant. I am in a title run right now. Like I said, we don't know what's going to happen. I think the odds of me going over and by January holding 6 title belts is very good. I would say it's about a 90% possibility that I'll hold 6 title belts by January, and which will eclipse Quinn Woodcock's 5 titles that he holds right now. Is it a goal of mine to do that? No. What I do is I show up, I do the work, and if the promoter believes in me enough to say, listen, we want to put a strap on you and make you the flag bearer of this company, then I'm honored and privileged to have that opportunity, and I'll do my best to serve your company in the most honorable way. You know, push the ticket sales and push. That's the biggest thing, is make sure the fans are happy. I mean, at the MCW show, Kaylee and I stayed there until every fan was gone. We did meet and greets until every single fan was gone. And we made sure that everybody was happy. Everybody got pictures taken with us, and we added them all on social media. They messaged me the next day to see how I was doing. I never leave my people on red. The longest I've ever left anybody on red was today, because we were at the wake for 4 hours. And so I was not able to return fan mail for the 4 hours. And like literally right after that, I got home, sat down, watched the Cubs game, and answered everybody's questions that they had online. So I take my responsibilities as being someone that the fans want to engage with. I take them very seriously. I try to answer the questions to my best of abilities and always represent every company that I work with in the most honorable way. And I understand that I was once a fan in their shoes, very nervous to message a wrestler and see if they would even respond to me. I'll tell you right now, no wrestlers ever responded to me before when I was a fan. And I respond to everybody. So I want to make sure that the fans know that I am for them. I believe in pro wrestling. I love pro wrestling. I love the storytelling, and I want this sport to continue to grow. And I want it to be at the forefront of entertainment. So I take my responsibilities as a flag bearer for MCW very serious, and then I want nothing but the best for the company. So, and then I take my responsibilities as a member of the roster for the NWA at the highest regard. So I do nothing that will ever, I don't like, my friends, they'll ask me, hey, you want to go out to the bar, grab a drink, or like, let's go out to eat and we grab some drinks and, you know, catch up. I don't do it. I will not go in public and drink alcohol at all. I don't want to do anything in public that I can either, like, because I'm a more muscular guy, and you go to these bars and stuff like that, and you start drinking, and some guys like to size you up, and then they want to pick fights with you, which has happened to me before. I just don't want to be in that situation. I live a very monk-like existence. I go to work, I train, I eat, I sleep, and I do it all over again. And the only times I ever socialize outside of the gym is at a wrestling event with the fans, and I make sure I mind my P's and Q's, and I never consume alcohol in front of them.
Well, guys, that was an awesome night tonight on the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. Thank you, Reek, for joining. We had I can honestly say we had the most humble individual in KOA tonight, and I appreciate your humbleness. I appreciate your love for people. I appreciate your storytelling. You're one guy. We are one class act, man. And
thank you. Much different than KOA Black. KOA Black's an asshole.
Never mind. I won't flip you over. I won't. Is that what KOA does? Is that is he the KOA Black?
KOA Black comes from Dragon Ball Z, where it was the main character Goku. They had a version Goku Black, which was his body was possessed by one of the angels, and one of the angels was so overcome with power because his body's so powerful that his evil side was brought out of him, and he became very dark, very conceited, very vain, you know, because he could destroy anybody in the world just like it. So Huge Pop Wrestling fans, wait for a huge announcement for the next time KOA's going to be on the show. We'll talk more in depth about his big news, and KOA, good luck. Stay on the chat. Both of you guys stay in the chat. I'm going to play that closing music, and then I'll talk to you guys. All right, sounds good.
Extreme.